What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about why I used to never beat games. And I still, I guess, in a way, have that problem right now. It's just not near, it's like a condition. I don't have it as bad now as I did in the past, but I want to talk about that. And if you guys have missed out over the last couple days, July is more of a dead month in terms of news and releases with games and movies. There are some, and I'll be covering all of them, but it's a little bit more of a dead month. I'm visiting my parents right now from when you guys are watching this video, so I'm trying to record some videos ahead of time, and I'm trying to do some different things. It's not my birthday, in case you guys were wondering. It was June 28th. You guys missed it. It was last Monday. But no, I'm recording this on my birthday. I don't do this to be like gloating or something like that. My daughter makes people wear this for their birthday, so it's just my turn to do it. So I wanted to do this. I thought this would be a different kind of video, a personal video talking back with you guys. And we've done this with a couple other things, and there will be more videos like this over the next couple weeks. Okay, and we'll sprinkle it in. And if you guys want more of this stuff, absolutely let me know in the comments. I've loved all the videos I've done so far. I've done a lot of them, before recording this one, and I think this one's going to be fun. So if you guys want more of it, definitely let me know in the comments below, okay? Long opening, but let's talk about this. So, what's funny is with the channel and all of the stuff that I do, right? Obviously, I'm kind of known, or I should be known, or as I get bigger, I'll be known even more as somebody who covers a lot of games and movies as well, but mainly games, right? Gaming is kind of my main passion, is what I'm into the most, and I think over the last couple of years, I've really realized how important games are to me and how movies are movies are very important, and there's obviously some movies that will always be just so they'll be connected to me forever, but they're easily number two. Okay, however, with that being said, I used to be, I don't think I am as much anymore. I used to be one of the worst people in the world when it came to playing the games. I always was like this in the way that I cover a lot of things, right? And not everybody watches everything, but I try to cover the smallest of the small games, the medium-sized games, the big games, Xbox games, PlayStation games, Nintendo Switch, I cover all of it, right? I think that honestly makes me very, very different from 98% of the YouTube community, right? I don't think there's a lot of people like me on the internet, which is actually probably a good thing, right? But back in the day, I used to be the same thing. I used to keep up with everything. I would scroll through weeks at a time of news of all the different websites and look at these games, and I would buy quite a few of them, on systems that I had at the time, and but the issue was I never beat them. Never. I would, my main thing whenever I talk about older games in that kind of section of my life, which really was probably from when I was around 12 to really, I would say, like 21 or 22, is I just never beat games. I'd play around 4 to 5. The average would probably be like 4 to 5 hours of any game. Pick a game during the time that I was 13 to 22, okay? And the odds are, if I owned it, I played 5 or 6 hours. Now, were there games I beat? Yes. It's not like I never beat a game in my life. I would beat the games that I think would mean the absolute most. So like the Uncharted trilogy, during that time, I beat it, right? Even Uncharted 4 at the time, I beat it. God of War at the time. Sometimes they're PlayStation, yeah, but like Mass Effect, when Mass Effect came out, I waited till Mass Effect 3, and then I think I played them all a year later. I played Mass Effect 2 and 3 back to back and beat it, fully, okay? So like I did beat games, the games that meant the most to me, but besides that, if it didn't mean the world to me, I kind of just left it, okay? So that was one issue, the fact that I just never progressed more than 5-6 hours. And I think it was just because I was into so many different things. And I mean, you're in school, right? You're a high schooler. Maybe you have a part-time, which I did when I was about to turn, I was like 16 and a half, almost 17. And I got my first job, and I had, I guess, umpire gigs in terms of baseball. I had that before then, but like my first real part-time job. So yeah, you're busy, and then you go to college and all that stuff. So I was busy. It's not like I did have time to play every game all day and stuff. But to be fair, I don't have that time now either. I think I'm just better at managing. It's really time management, right? I'm better at managing my time now. However, there is one thing that I thought would be, it's more of a personal thing to me that I thought I would share with you guys and see maybe if it connects with any of you or you guys have the same feeling. One of the issues I realized back then, I always knew it. And one of the things I still, in a way, have right now is is a feeling in me where I don't want things to end. I beat Mass Effect 3 for the second time. I've only ever played Mass Effect 3 2 times, and I'm really glad that I only have, because it just is so powerful each time. And I romanced Tali this time, and it was just so beautiful and amazing and so different from when I remember it doing it like 9 years ago, right? I'm older now, and it's so amazing. And I bring up Mass Effect 3 for a reason, because back in the day I felt this, and still, and Mass Effect 3 taught me this, I still feel this in a way right now, where I don't want things to end. When I beat Mass Effect 3, I tweeted that, like, you don't really know what you have until it's gone. And I mean, that's obviously, that's not me making up that saying for the first time, right? A lot of people have said that, but I really, when beating Mass Effect 3 a couple days ago from when I'm recording this, or one day ago from when you guys are watching, it was a little while ago, right? That really punched me in terms of like, hey, do you remember this, Alex? Because you always did this back in the day. If I didn't beat a game, if I let's just say, okay, a lot of games I'd only play 5-6 hours into, right? I would never, and I mean, if the game was 5-6 hours, great, I would make it through. Honestly, that's why Telltale games were very special to me, and I played all of them, and I enjoyed most of them, because you jump in, you play 1 to 2 hours, and you're done. And it's like, yes, I can do that. They're gripping enough where like the story's engaging enough where I will do it. Life is Strange was a big one. Even during the time Life is Strange came out, I did not beat many games, but I mean, it's like 2.5 hours. You play it 5 times and you're done. And it was so great. But, a lot of times, even if I made it past that, right, I would make it 5 or 6 hours. I would beat the game, or there was a third option, and that was I'd leave the game right before the ending. If I knew, and I would sometimes look at walkthroughs at some, and I wouldn't like spoil it for myself. I never really was like that. Walkthroughs or YouTube videos, I would know when I was getting close, when I had like 2 missions left, 3 missions left, 2 hours left, 3 hours left, right? I would kind of know when I was, or you can, some games you can like sense it, right? Or you could look at the trophies and kind of say, oh, I only have 2 more story trophies left and that's it. So you can kind of sense them sometimes, or you can like look it up. Some games that meant the world to me, so again, there's kind of 2 categories, right? The games that mean the world to me, I would beat them, but I'd also have this issue where I wouldn't want to beat them, because I've always had this, and maybe it's just a thing in life, maybe it's a more psychological condition to me. I don't want things to end. Things that are that special sometimes can never be replicated, and I don't ever want them to end. So I'll leave them so I never have to see the end of it. Does that make sense? And I feel like I'm not the only one who's thought about it, or maybe even like kind of acted upon it, but it is definitely a personal thing. Like, and I'll give you 2 examples. One is a little bit older one, Uncharted 4, which is my favorite game of all time that I've said multiple times. My favorite franchise. It means the world. Uncharted means the world to me. It always will. It always has, right? So when I played Uncharted 4, I tore through it. I beat the game in, I believe, 2 days. I think it took me somewhere in the realm of like 13, 14, 15 hours, somewhere in that range, and I played it, honestly, I think I played like 8 hours in back-to-back days. My friend was over, he slept over, we played it back to, like, we would alternate turns, and we just played the entire thing. But I cannot tell you, in my head, so I try to keep it secret from him, but during the time, I was like, I don't want to beat this. So, like, the very end, when you play as, Nate's daughter, right, I was like, this is it. This is the last time you will be in this universe, in this way, right? In this memory captured. It's the last time. You'll never be able to do this, and that's kind of, I think, what it boils down to. You'll never be able to do this for the first time ever again. These experiences that you get with this thing, this is your one and only time that you're going to experience it. And I think for some games, and I don't even remember that some games I do think I actually just left and never beat the ending. And other games I'd push through it and say, that's important, and that's something that I always think about, but I gotta beat it. I gotta go through and finish it off, right? And that's what I did with Uncharted 4. And it's weird, and maybe stupid to say, you can make fun of me all you want. Like, it hurts in a way where it's like, I beat it. I love it to death. Maybe you get emotional, maybe you don't. And I've gotten emotional for some games, not others, right? But it's like, you'll never, no matter how you feel, right? You'll never do it again. You could play Uncharted 4 10 more times, but you'll never get the same experience ever. It's impossible. And that's kind of that is what makes it special. Same thing with like seeing Avengers Infinity War or Endgame, right? No matter how you think about it now, or you nitpick it or whatever, and there are issues with it, right? You'll never see it for the first time ever again. You'll never get those moments, those iconic moments, the crowd, if you like went to see it in theaters, right? You'll never get that. Now, the recent example, so that was years ago. Uncharted 4 is 5 years old. So that was the last big one that I can point to. I'm sure there were many ones before, maybe a couple ones after, but I don't remember them as much. But Mass Effect 3, which is odd because I've beaten it before. I beat it back, again, it came out in 2012. I think I waited a full year, so I think I beat it in 2013, okay? So I played it. I still remembered it. I don't remember the lore and the characters as much as I thought I did and stuff like that. I didn't remember that, but obviously I'm very much into it now after playing it again. But the thing is, number one, it has been probably 8 or so years since I've played the game, maybe like 7 or 8 years since I played the game, okay? So it has been a very long time where I can almost go in with a fresh start. Maybe that's the key, right? Just wait so long that your memory is terrible and then forget all about it and then play it again for the first time, and maybe you'll forget things, which I kind of did in some ways, right? But what interested me this time was that I kind of did things differently. I was still the very good Shepard. I still used the default Shepard look. I always did. I never created my own. And obviously the male Shepard voice. So all of that stuff I kept the same. But in the original time, I romanced Miranda. In 2 and 3, I guess I romanced Ashley. I picked Ashley for 1 when you do like the interactive comic. This time I did Tali. And granted, it did make vastly different experience because you get so many different dialogues. You get obviously different scenes that I never looked up back in the day. I romanced Miranda, and I was like, well, I don't need to look up Garrus romances or Tali. I never did it. I never went on YouTube to do it. So I really didn't know what I was in for. So I romanced Tali, and it was insane. And I really think she's kind of the key to my feelings about it right now, because it just was so different and beautiful, and I still felt it. So to end the story, yesterday, from when I'm recording this, I played the last 1 hour of 3, and I beat it for the second time. The day before, I played for like 6 or 7 hours the day before. I played a long amount of it, and I got to the last hour, and I stopped it, I saved it, I quit it. And yesterday, Christy, my wife, she said, like, hey, because we were bored, we weren't doing it, it was a Sunday, she was like, do you want to play Mass Effect? And I put it off she asked me, and I put it off for hours after she asked me. I said, no, not right now, like, I don't want to. And I realized, still to this day, I have that problem. I love that game. I love it so much. I love it now way more than I loved Mass Effect 3 back then. I love Tali a lot more now than I did back then, right? All of these things, right? So, like, it was almost a different experience and all, and I didn't want it to end. That's the moral of the story. I did not want this story of Commander Shepard. And it also, this one was a little bit different too, because it's like, and I said it in a tweet, like, we don't know if we'll ever get this again. Like, thinking about Mass Effect 1 through 3 now is much different, in my opinion, than thinking about it back when 3 came out, because there's a lot of distance of time, and, there was a lot of people upset with Mass Effect 3 back then. I think looking at it now, it's an absolutely amazing game with amazing things that happen. Obviously, the ending is you could talk about it, but it's like, and I tweeted it, where it's like, I don't know if Mass Effect will ever be able to beat that. Sure, other games may be able to beat it, and maybe more special, but I don't know if Mass Effect will ever beat it. So that again, mindset of mine, and maybe it's exclusive to me, maybe it's not, where it's like, you'll never get this experience again. It was kind of the same thing, and it is a mix. What I just said actually goes with it, where it's like, what if this never happens again? I think they're connected, right? Like with Uncharted, you'll never see Nate maybe as good ever again. Maybe you will. Maybe there'll be characters better than Nathan Drake. You don't know. But all you know right now is that you're living kind of in the golden age of it happening. And when it's over, it's over. And that is actually kind of a scary thing, at least for me. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's more of an emotional or personal thing for me. And so for Mass Effect, it was a little bit different, right? Because it's like, man, it's been 9 years since Mass Effect 3. Now we're getting to experience it all over again. But still, it's like, it's actually, if you forgot Legendary Edition came out and you just did that, right? It's like, wow, it's been 9 years. Look at how special this is. You'll never do this again. Maybe it'll be better. Maybe it'll be worse. Andromeda. Because they did, you could look back in time for that, right? Like, maybe they could do it again. Well, they tried it with Mass Effect Andromeda, and it failed. Now, I'm not saying, like, I have no hope for Mass Effect. I think Mass Effect 4, the next Mass Effect, could be really good. But it's like, during the time of 1 through 3, and as you're playing them again, and Legendary Edition helps, remasters help, as I'm playing 2, as I'm playing 3, as I'm playing them differently now because I'm romancing a different character, and I'm taking her along for all the missions, I'm just hearing all this unique dialogue I've never heard before, it's like, you'll never do this again. It could be better in the future, it could be worse, but you'll never play it again feeling this exact, because I could play it tomorrow, I could restart it, romance Tali again, but you'll never feel the same way as you did the first time, ever. And I guess for a game like that, there is a way of feeling differently each time because maybe you could go with a different character, or maybe you could play the game bad versus good. But again, Mass Effect is just one part of it. This is a problem with me in general, right? You'll never be able to experience it the first way you did it. You'll never get that again. Same thing even for like movies, my favorite movies of all time, Pirates of the Caribbean. I'll never forget watching 3 for the first time. You'll never get that again. And can it still be special every time after? Yeah, it's just not the same. And I think that is why, maybe that's the main reason why I never did it. Besides, games I only played 3, 4, 5 hours of, that's just because I was lazy or whatever the reason. I was jumping around games. That was a problem. By the way, that's been fixed ever since 2020, the start of 2020. I've beaten probably, in the last year and a half, I've probably beaten like 25 games, which I think actually is quite a bit to anybody. Maybe you guys have beaten 50 and you think that's low, but I actually think that's kind of high for anybody out there, but especially for me, who probably has beaten 25 games in his life before then. It's a big deal. But the idea, the mindset of like you'll never get this again still actually kind of haunts me right now, because it just happened yesterday with Mass Effect, and that kind of shows me, you still have that in your head, Alex, where it's like you still possibly are in that boat where if a game is special enough to you, you really don't want to beat it, and like you have to kind of fight your way through it. And I did. I fought my way through Mass Effect 3, and maybe I'll have to do it. Maybe God of War, maybe Horizon, maybe I don't know. Maybe then if a Sly Cooper game came out, would I beat it? It'd be so tough to. Honestly, it would be really tough to. So let me know. Very long video, but I definitely appreciate you guys checking it out. Let me know if you guys liked it. If you guys like these kind of different videos, I can definitely do more of them in the future. Let me know your own experiences in the comments. Thank you for watching, guys. I think this may go up on 4th of July, so if it does, happy 4th of July, and I'll see you all on the next video.